I'm using the rear differential from the 96 4Runner, mainly because the gear ratio on the 4Runner was a 4.56. My Tacoma was originally a 4.10. This works out for me because I run oversized tires, and the higher gear ratio will work out better for me. It'll give me a little bit more torque, a little bit more fuel economy, and overall this will be a better fit for my setup. Typically you don't have to do this with your 4x4 swap unless you get different gear ratios, or if you just want to have a better gear ratio. In this case, it worked out for me that the gear ratio was higher on the 4Runner. After cleaning off the old gasket with a razor blade and a little bit of sandpaper, I decided to go ahead and use the liquid gasket maker. This particular gasket maker is designed for gear oil seals, so it should work perfectly fine for the rear differential. I just didn't want to have to go out and buy a paper gasket from the dealership. Generally, you want to spread it on with your finger on both the rear axle and the differential, so that way you get good contact. And it usually only takes like an hour to set, and then once an hour has passed, you can put the differential fluid in there. If this was a paper gasket, you don't have to wait for it to set, but since this is the liquid gasket maker, I went ahead and let it set first before I decided to put any differential fluid. Here you see me using a homemade speed bleeder. This is just a bottle with the hole drilled in the cap. Got the rubber air hose from an air pump. This makes it easier to bleed the brakes if you don't have someone else to pump it for you. Since the air hose is clear, you'll be able to see any bubbles that come out of the brake lines. And if there are any bubbles in the line, just continue pumping the brakes. Once all the bubbles are gone from the line, you'll be able to tighten everything back up and you'll have an air-free brake system. After giving the liquid gasket maker plenty of time to set, I went in and filled the rear differential with gear oil. Also, you want to make sure that you don't over tighten the rear filler plug. A lot of people tend to put way too much torque on these, and in the future when they go in and change out their rear differential fluid, they always end up stripping the plug or have a hard time removing it. Once it's nice and snug, you'll be good to go. The rear differential fluid won't leak out of it, and you won't have any problems in the future removing the plug. In my next video, I'll be swapping out the transmission and transfer case. Hopefully it'll be a straight swap. If not, I guess we'll have a little bit more fun with it. Thanks for watching my video. Have a great day.